Is that me? Yeah. Just so that you're aware, unlike Qantas, I'll actually try and tell you what's going on. Oh, sorry. Whoops, wrong airline. Another one which rhymes with ITSTAR. But yeah, I think we're just waiting for a couple of members to so that we can get ourselves a quorum. So as soon as we're quorum, we will get underway. Oops, we're now quorum now. Right, fabulous. Oh, go away. God. Right. Good evening. I welcome to the March 2026 Audit Risk and Improvement Committee. Can I welcome you all and thank you for your attendance this evening. The meetings of committees of council convened under section 5.8 of the Local Government Act are subject in part to the City of Wanneroo Standing Orders local law. For the avoidance of doubt, in accordance with 9.6 standing orders, a committee's presiding person may determine that a meeting will be included with full compliance with the standing orders, including those not explicitly stated to apply to the committee. This determination is to be effected by a declaration of the presiding person at the meeting. As the presiding member of this committee, in accordance with Clause 9.6 of the City's standing orders, I declare that all provisions of the standing orders will be apply to the conduct of this meeting, and I'll declare the meeting open at 6:03 p.m. Good evening, councillors, staff, members of the public, our external guests. The meeting today is being held on Wajok Noongar Budja, and I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. I thank all past and present members of the community that have supported the city to better understand and value Noongar culture within the city of Wanneroo. Okay, please note that the AV proceedings of tonight's meeting will be live broadcast online with the exception of matters discussed behind closed doors, and they will be accessed live and on demand through the City of Wanneroo YouTube channel. Okay, we do have our attendances per the record in there. I think we got there noted. They're on page 1. We have apologies from Councillor Figg, the CEO's an apology, and the Deputy Mayor Councillor Miles. Okay, we have, you should have all received a copy of the minutes of the Audit and Risk Improvement meeting on November 17th, 2025. And can I have a mover and seconder that the minutes of the ARIC committee held on the 17th of November be confirmed? I think there's something come up on your voting machines, and I think you just tap. Okay, can I have a mover? Mrs Zollstorff, can I have a seconder? Councillor Rowe. Okay, you can please ready to vote. And you just press this, don't you? All right. Oopsie daisies, am I supposed to be watching some pictures? Oh. Oops, Amanda's just providing tech support here.
Should be coming on.
Oh, what happened to the good old days when you just did it? Okay, I have a confirmation of 7 7 votes to nil. Therefore, the minutes are confirmed. And I get to sign these, don't I? Right. It's 30th of March. Right, there we are. Okay, now, to make sure I get this right, we have 2 items that have attachments that are to be discussed, or will require for us to move behind closed doors when we discuss them, and we've got 2 items that are open to members of the public. I would like to, for the purposes to expedite the meeting, and so that I'm not having to constantly insult you with my bad use of the standing orders, is to have someone to move and second that a procedural motion to move and second, so that we change the order of the reports so that we receive items 4.2 and 4.3, followed by 4.1 and 5.1. Can I have someone, thanks Mayor Aitken, can I have someone seconded? Councillor Safe? Thank you, sorry if I mispronounced your names. Now, how do we do that? Do we just debate? Okay, we've got a cast your vote thing, so please cast your vote, right. Right. Okay, I've got everyone in that, so we will now move to deal with those items. Okay, the first item is 4.2, which is the purchasing policy CEO exemption approvals. Please, can I have any comments on those on that item? Councillor Ms. Zulsdorf, and then Councillor Rowe.
Thank you. I had a few questions on this one, but the starting point was it wasn't clear to me what are the grounds on which a CEO can make an exemption. So could someone help me understand that first, please, before I ask my follow-ups?
Thank you. So the purchasing policy steps out, obviously, that we are able to use a CEO exemption under extenuating circumstances. It's one of the avenues we can take. So a director co-signs to ensure a level of oversight that using this process would meet the threshold for sort of meeting extenuating circumstances. Reasons that this would be applied are things like operational efficiencies or to retain some level of procurement flexibility or emergency situations. It doesn't get that prescriptive within our purchasing policy. However, those are the sort of grounds it's been used before. There are safeguards obviously in place as well, such as financial caps and reporting through forums such as this one to make sure transparency is maintained.
Thank you. That's helpful. It would be really helpful to have that in the policy so I understand what the grounds are and what your justification for that is. And then then it's a case of, we make our own assessments to whether we feel that fulfills the requirements of the policy. So there was one on the risk workshop, and I'm very comfortable that the CEO is making a determination, because I don't think that's just about cost. I do think it's about quality. You can have a number of people with lesser costs, but they're not providing the sophisticated level of training that we require. But I'm wondering if anyone has any information as to why that particular provider was the preferred provider. And my second question is, was there a review of the policy first? Because it's really important that whoever you engage as a trainer, that we're all agreed that the policy and the definitions in there are the ones that we wish to use. So,
Ms. Coles.
Thank you for the question, Ms. Zulsdorf. So Back in April 2025, the city undertook a request for quotation process to actually bring a consultant on board to review the city's risk appetite statement. At that time, the operational risk registers and policy were going to be reviewed in-house. Unfortunately, due to resourcing, that was not possible. So a decision was made in November, December last year to actually use the same consultant using the CEO exemption, because the consultant has the knowledge of the organisation, the knowledge of council and their risk appetite. So we brought that consultant on board. The consultant is also reviewing the policy and the risk management framework as part of this process. So it's all going to be done by one person with the various workshops across the council, executive and management group.
Thank you.
Yes.
If I could have a follow-up, thank you.
Yes, and then Councillor Rowe. Yeah.
And that sounds a good process, and I can understand your justification for those decisions. If I could just emphasise that in my view, it's important that everyone is agreed on the policy and the framework, because once you train everyone to use that creating that shared understanding of risk and a risk register is really important. So that front piece needs to be endorsed at all levels, I think, if possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Zolderth. So the Stage 2 will be the training that will commence from the 1st of July. So we do have a workshop coming up with the Audit and Risk Committee to actually go through the policy and the risk registers, because we want to understand that part first. And then once they're actually approved by this committee in May, then we will start the training in July.
Very pleased with that process. Thank you.
Councillor Rowe, your questions.
Thank you, Chair. Referring to page 32 of the agenda proper, in relation to Technology 1, the report notes that the 2-year support contract had expired and the intention was to transition data over to the cloud by the end of December 2025. Given this is a long-standing matter for the city, can I confirm that took place by the end of the calendar year?
Ms Hamilton.
Thank you for the question. I understand it has been completed, but I'm happy to follow that up and confirm.
Okay. Councillor Rowe again.
Second question, on page 38 of the agenda proper, in relation to Snap, Send, Solve. At a recent council meeting where the motion on notice was supported, we were advised that costs were circa 80,000. The amount in the report this evening is for a quotation price of 117,540, with an additional implementation fee of $50,000 referred to in the paragraph below, totalling 167,000. Can I just get the administration to confirm, is the overall cost of implementation 167,000 rather than the circa 80,000 that council was advised when the decision was made?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I can confirm the price that was provided to council did not include implementation costs from Snaps and Solve themselves. So that was one aspect of the increase in costs. And then the subsequent integration that was required with our systems as well was the additional cost. So the total cost is what's listed in the report.
Last set of questions from me, Chair. On page 40 of the agenda proper, source business partners. Can I ask why the administration did not go out to procurement or tenders for this particular party? Why were they selected without a procurement process?
Yes, please.
Thank you for the question. Time was of the essence. I think we needed to figure out a way forward quite quickly.
Supplementary again, Councillor Rowe.
Supplementary, Chair. Just can I get advice perhaps through yourself from the General Counsel? Is there any conflict mitigation strategy in place that I understand under section 5.72 that it needs to be signed off by a member of the executive? Obviously this one's been signed off by the acting director whose service units and whose directorate will be benefiting from the mentoring services, was it not considered appropriate to have another member of the executive sign that?
Yeah, General Counsel.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Rowe. In accordance with the policy, it's not required. It's the wording is the CEO providing that both the CEO and one other director provide their approval in writing prior to the procurement. So there's no requirement for it to be a different director in the policy.
Okay. I guess Councillor Safe.
Just on the same point, so can I just get clarification here that the 117,540, so the 80,000 that we voted on at council is included in that 117. It's not additional. I know the 50,000 is additional and it's from the operational budget, but can I just check that the 80 is included in that 117, please?
Councillor.
Thank you for the
Ms.
question,
Harrison.
Councillor Seif. That's correct.
Right, okay. I have one question on that, and that relates to the question on the briefing paper regarding AMP services. Which page is it? I'm sorry, just flicking through this. Culture AMP, sorry, that's the one I was, which is the third one for $106,137. I note the briefing paper says, well, the CEO wanted it, and then the CEO signed off on it. Can I have some background as to why? And that because, again, from a conflict of interest perspective, it doesn't really look appropriate, even though there's possibly quite some need for it. So can I please have an explanation of how the policy actually deals with it when the CEO says, well, I want over there, and instructs subordinate to jemmy up the paperwork and then signs off on it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an ejector seat.
Thank you for the question. Look, the Culture AMP platform was considered the most appropriate vendor. There was quite a comprehensive process of investigation and research before looking at that one as being most suitable in terms of delivering what the CEO was asked to do, which is provide a baseline of culture data for the city, which hadn't been consistently done for quite a number of years. So subsequent to the first year where that piece of work was done, by remaining with this platform, we were able to do that compare and contrast in future years, which is obviously what you're looking at here, was us procuring it for another set of time.
Okay, thank you. I can understand that. I just wonder, is it worth, when you have these conflicts, and picking up on Councillor Rowe's comments in there, that whilst these delegations certainly are allowed and they are by law, that perhaps some of the conflict of interest provisions be looked at, and that perhaps they might be worded in supporting policies so that it's a bit more clear and a bit more transparent, especially in an organisation this size. Obviously, you've got budget variations on big projects and that, and I think it would, again, I think just for transparency, it's merely a suggestion on my part. The policies, I notice, have just been advised due for renewal in May. You had a question?
That was exactly the same question, Chair, when it was subject next to review, because I think some of the comments tonight could be relevant as part of that review process.
Right, okay. Are there any more comments, questions on this issue? Okay, I have a motion before me that the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee accepts the purchasing policy section 5.7.2 exemptions approved by the CEO. Can I have someone move it? Ms Zulstorp, seconder. Councillor Wright, is it? It's plucked. Okay. Can we then Okay, we have a yes for the, and one no. One, so yes for the motion, and that being councillor Rowe. Right, does he have to speak or anything like that?
We just have to call that who's for.
Oh, okay, right, okay, so everybody else voted for and councillor Rowe gets, thank you. Right. Oh, what's this thing doing? Okay, 4.3, which is the contract status and unexecuted lease report. Okay. So the acting CEO.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not speaking in relation to the item. Item is taken as read. Just want to provide one clarification. On page 44, one of the contracts is shown as amber. That is incorrect. That's data has, it has, the report when it was created has picked up incorrectly. It is actually green. Contract is doing pretty well. Thank you.
That's the top. Okay, comments, questions in there? We have before us, Ms. Zulsdorf.
Thank you. Just to prove that I read the papers, page 51 down the bottom, the April 25 should be April 26. Other than that, it's all fine. Thank you.
I have a question before we move the thing in there. Can someone please give me some background as to why this agenda item appeared in the first instance? And because we're being asked to I think, cease reporting this, if I understand it properly. Can someone please provide me with some background as to why? CEO.
Look, thank you, Chair. From the recollection of, there was a requirement to provide an oversight for this committee to the contract status reports, and subsequently committee asked for the unexecuted lease report to be brought here as well. So it was a request from the committee to see these both pieces of information.
And how long's that been going for?
From my recollection, it's been going on forever, a number of years. I think the second bit was added last 3 or 4 years, maybe 2, 3 years. The contract status report has been coming to audit committee for a while.
Right, okay. Okay. Recommendation that I think these reports cease.
No, so just accepts.
Oh, accepts, okay, right, okay, we have the Audit and Risk Committee accepts the status of the active reports. Ms. Zulsdorf, can I have someone second? Councillor Rowe. Okay, you can please vote. Right. Right, okay, we've got, everybody has voted yes, we've got no no's, the motion is carried. Okay, please note that the attachments for both this agenda item 4.1 and the subsequent agenda item 5.1, the attachments for the item are confidential, and are there any questions on the actual attachments, likely from the attachments? Yes, the answer is yes. And in 5.1 as well, because at the moment, anyone for 5, yes for Councillor Ms. Zulsdorf. Okay, now so we have to move to I've got a motion. Is this the right wording that I've got to do?
Procedural motion.
Okay, can I have a procedural motion that the Audit and Risk Committee move into a confidential discussion item under to discuss 4.1 and 5.1? Can I do it?
Just
4.1 under the terms of the Local Government Act, Section 5.23, subsection 2. Can I please move Mayor Aikens and seconded Councillor Rowe. Cast your votes, please. Okay, just how do I do this? Oh. Okay, the vote has been cast. We're at 7-0. We shall move behind closed doors. So, are there any members of the public? I don't blame her, actually. I would too if you saw something like me behind a screen. Okay, I have now that the motion before us that the Audit and Risk Improvement Committee receives and accepts the internal audit log as at March 2026, Paxson's internal audit log of completed items March 2026. The 23 action items and 2 sub-items are validated for closure are set out in action 2. So can I have someone to please move that? Ms Silsdorf, seconded, Councillor Wright. Okay, right, we do the voting thing. Okay, we have a substantive vote of 7-0, so that means yes, the motion is carried. So thank you. Right, now we've... Okay, I've got another procedural motion to reclose the door, close the doors in for item 5.1, which is the higher facility to roof, so that we move in. Can I have someone to move and second a procedural motion that we move into confidential section to discuss this, please? Councillor Rowe, Councillor Wright, cast your votes, please. Okay, the vote is 7-0 that we close the door again. Yeah, jeepers creepers. Maybe I wonder if I could do this with my dear wife. Okay, righty. God, this reminds me of dancing lessons. No wonder I bloody took up tap dancing instead. Okay, right, now, so I've got to remove and do that whole motion again, do I? Okay, okay, we moved that the audit and... Okay, item number 5.1, the recommendation there that we receive and accept the report entitled Facility Hire as Review, and I believe that we had, who seconded, Councillor Rowe and Councillor Saif. You're still happy to do that? Right. Anybody against? Oh, sorry, no, do I have to? It's all done. It's all done, okay. Excuse me, I said, oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, I hear for the auditing school. Who says I know how to audit? Okay, we've got item 6 late reports. I do understand that Ms Silsdorf, you had a comment or a report that you wish to make.
Thank you, and I'll talk quickly. Over Christmas, I did a bit of homework for audit and risk committees. I listened to the webinar by Department of Local Government, and they were talking about the reforms for ARICS. You'll have seen all of the amendments. The big one was they're looking at standardising standing orders for local governments, and they're reviewing the terms of reference for ARICS. So expect that to come through. And yes, if you're looking at doing it, maybe put it off for a few months. They're saying in the next couple of months. There was also a webinar for Office of Auditor General. They had someone speaking about, Western Power speaking about ASB, which is climate change. They're saying at the moment local governments don't need to report it, but the day's coming, you might want to start thinking about what that might look like. And I thought for a larger place like this, that's probably relevant. They were also talking about asset valuations, and there's a bit of confusion, but I think I've got it clarified. So what they're saying is that we need to satisfy ourselves as a committee around asset valuations, but the crux of it is really about linking financial and engineering systems. So local governments are saying that the depreciation doesn't equate to the replacement value, but equally that time frame isn't relating. So you might depreciate over 20 years, but you're actually getting 60 years. So what does that look like? And like with your roads, what's your maintenance program looking like? And are your different systems talking in terms of how you're funding your assets and how you as a committee are understanding that asset valuation? So I'm sure there's education there for me. I don't know about anyone else. And again, I think they've heard loud and clear around the dollars, certainly for the small to medium local governments, that they've got to get some efficiencies and they can't keep putting the rates up the way that they are. So I think people have been screaming on that one. Last one, sorry, really quickly. Courtesy of Coburn, they funded me to go to the Walga training on ARICS. And we got given some slides and a booklet. It was interesting. They did talk about the deputy of the presiding member. There seems to be lots of confusion, and they're going to state solicitors to get legal advice on that, because the department thought it was very clear and everyone else has their own legal interpretation. I would be happy to share the folder that I was given on ARICS, and next time I come, if I remember, I can give that to Vicky to copy if anyone would like it. But it was good to meet with lots of other people. It was a good session and good training, but I would have perhaps liked the first half of the day condensed. So we had, because most of us were on a number, and it would have been really interesting to have more discussions around what are the challenges we're having, what are the powers we have, what are the limitations, how do we do things, as Councillor Wright was raising earlier, how do we actually get that to happen given the constraints we have. But it was certainly a good start anyway. So I hope that was short and sweet for you. Thank you.
Thank you for undertaking that. And you can put me on the distribution list to see, do a quick self-assessment myself and see where I've managed to run amok totally from anything put out by Wolga. Okay, any other items? I see everybody's eyes are all rolling. I'll take that as being none. The date of the next Audit and Risk Committee is scheduled for Monday, the 6 p.m, Monday, the 18th of May 2026, and it will be held in this venue here. There being no other items in there, can I thank each and every one of you, the officers, for the preparation of a thorough agenda. Can I thank the committee members for their contributions to the debate? And on that note, I'll close the meeting at 7:55. Right.